And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This, as you can see, is Game 1. Any Maro fans, give a cheer for your favorite Swedish superhero. Yes, indeed, he is the red Terran pieces in the bottom left. And the DIMAGA fans, I know he has at least a little troop up there at the front. Big cheer for DIMAGA.
There's a lot of fans out there for DIMAGA right now.
Well, he's such a smiley gent, and he does have those very large muscles, so always an admirable person to have. Here in the semifinals, making that Overlord on 9. No early pool. Doesn't look like there's any early barracks play coming out of Terran either. Yeah,
definitely. We have to follow Maro to see if he's going to go for this early refinery. Going for this early refinery allows you to get the tech lab out pretty fast. And then the thing is, with that kind of timing, you can get the Reaper out and the Reaper speed out at the same time for the Nitro packs. And those Reapers are going to cause so much havoc in DIMAGA's base.
And I already love that DIMAGA is scouting along this bottom edge because it's very easy to have a Marine pop out early and take that Overlord out. Doesn't want to have that risk under his belt. We have the barracks going down for Maro. Very, very defensive placement by Maro to have that barracks all the way back by his command center. That's a little more typical against Terran or Protoss, but against Zerg, I'm a little bit surprised.
Yeah, DIMAGA right now has gone for the 14 gas. We were probably going to see the 14 pool. Very super safe standard build that every Zerg's been using, and we do see the 14 pool being put down. And then we are going to see 2, 3 going to the gas now, and we do have a scouting drone straight away.
Yeah, he's not going to be able to see too much going back down to Maro's base. We do see a gas geyser going down. Maro wouldn't have been surprised if he just skipped that and made the command center right away, but like you were saying before the match, that Reaper bunker rush style is so popular and so versatile. Most Terrans have been switching to it lately.
Yeah, definitely. Is he going to put the tech lab down straight away? No, he actually decides to build a Marine, which is extremely interesting, Day 9. The thing with this kind of style, DIMAGA is known for going for these kind of Baneling busts early on.
Yeah,
and I'm actually wondering why Maro chose to kind of be so defensive with his barracks and Splay Debris. He could have been in a lot of trouble if DIMAGA had chosen that path.
Super defensive building placement by Maro, even throwing down the supply depot. Looks like his barracks decides to lift off, and he is going all the way over to the wall, and probably a factory going to be thrown down here, and then some sort of very fast Hellion play going out. Yep, there's the factory going down as well, and obviously this barracks leaving just enough space for a reactor to go down. Don't mind that at all. Fast Hellions on Steps of War is always going to be a good choice.
Is it going to be Hellions, or is it going to be the tech lab? We don't know. Well, it didn't come down. It is a tech lab, Day 9.
Just to make me feel embarrassed. Yes, there's a tech lab going down. But still, hey, getting a tech lab, getting something with that barracks, going to be a good play. DIMAGA also getting the metabolic speed boost for the Zerglings, who's going to be fairly safe against any sort of harass as he does throw down his natural expansion.
And we do look at Maro's base, and we see the second gas being placed down. And then with the tech lab as this barracks, it looks like Maro's going to be like playing for some kind of mech build. This is unlike Maro. From what I've heard of his style, he does like to use Reapers and be very aggressive with infantry builds, but one Hellion is produced. He's lifted up the barracks, but what is he actually doing with it?
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. He takes it back. He's going to go ahead and land it right back down again. Wouldn't be surprised if he did go for a very fast Infernal Pre-Igniter upgrade, but it appears that there's a starport going down in Maro's main. This is a little bit slower of a starport as he did opt to do this sort of tech lab action at the front. And curious to see what he's going to do with it. Yes, there's the switch. One Hellion is out right now. Going back to Maro's main, he is continuing to mule. Starport is almost done. He is doing a little Ling roasting, and he's making any use of that tech lab. No, nothing quite yet.
No, nothing quite yet. And I love this Overlord placement just outside Maro's base. He has 2 on either side of his base in the main, and he can at any time decide to go in and see exactly what. Can that Overlord actually see it? He sees the command center. That's brilliant Overlord placement.
And it looks like Maro doing a little bit of harassment. The Hellion sneaks up into the main, but of course Zergling speed is done. Not too much damage is going to be done right here. The Queen is doing some good shots down on the Hellion. And look at Maro, unable to do anything at all. The first Hellion falls down without doing any damage in the slightest.
This is pretty funky play here by Maro. He is going for this fast expand, but instead of using Reaper or Hellions for the early stance on Zerg to push him into the main, he is going for a Banshee. A tank has been made as well as another Marine.
Yeah, this Banshee could do a lot of damage, but it's that tank that I'm most interested in. We've seen a lot of the European Terrans today go for that fast tank, rely a lot on the siege mode for defense early, and then do that Marine tank composition. I would love it if he did that, and there's the Spire going down in DIMAGA's base. But DIMAGA, does he have enough Queens? He does have these 2, but if there are enough Banshees that come out, Maro could do serious, serious damage.
And the second barracks has been put down by Maro just by a starport. The Banshee is now out and will be en route straight to DIMAGA's base. DIMAGA, like you said, only has 2 Queens. There is no defense. The Spire is building, but the Spire does take a long time to build, and then the Noodlers have to pop out the eggs. It's going to be quite a while, and I think that Overlord actually saw the Banshee go down. What's DIMAGA's reaction? He's building the second Queen straight away on his natural, and he's getting the Overseer as well.
He's going to have to group his queens together or he could lose one very easily, but I think Maro is not going for any queens at all. He's just going to try to pick off some of these drones. Oh, look at DIMAGA already getting his queen in place, but one drone falls, a second one's going to fall. The Banshees just deal damage so fast, there's very little that he can do about it. Look at that incredible control by Maro, picking everything off and moving away at the perfect angles. That
was really nice control there by Maro. He did maximum damage with taking very little hits, scooping around, taking down about 4 drones. That was very nice, and he didn't even bother going for the queen. He just took down these drones. That, to him, in his mind, would have hurt DIMAGA a lot more than taking that queen.
And their Aspire is almost done, but see DIMAGA is still spending his gas, making more and more Overseers. So he has made only 2 Mutalisks in production, 1 Mutalisk in production, just so gas broke from that slight early pressure by Maro. And yes, indeed, here comes a ton of Marines being made right now, just going on for the big all-out barracks. Oh no, looks like he's getting a tech lab. Thought he was going to be getting a reactor a little bit sooner, but now that siege mode is done, he will be sneaking out and securing that expansion.
He has actually just right now finished producing the Raven, which is, in my mind, I'm not too sure exactly why he is getting the Raven. I'm not sure what your thoughts on that are.
I mean, a Raven can't be bad. I mean, it does have the auto turrets and the point defense drone. Those are always very strong, but especially it allows for that Hunter-Seeker missile if he does encounter a lot of Mutalisks, and it looks like, weirdly enough, DIMAGA is not making that many Mutalisks and instead going straight for a Baneling Nest.
Yeah, you see the Baneling Nest is now being produced. This Banshee right here, this Banshee is going to go down. It's being chased by this Mutalisk, 2 Mutalisks. And 2 Mutalisks are actually faster than the Banshee, so they will be able to keep up. But he doesn't even have cloak research. This Banshee is going to go down.
Yeah, this is a little bit of a blunder by Maro, getting a touch over eager. You do have to pull back when the mutas pop out, and yes, there the Banshee does go down. Expansion running nicely for Maro. He's going to have to throw down some turrets, but this is way, way more turrets than Maro actually wants to be building, because as we can see back in DIMAGA's base, very few Mutalisks. We've seen him use a lot of Mutalisks in the later stages of the game, but for right now, it's pretty much just these 2 by the front and these 2 in the back of his main.
Yeah, definitely, and I love the way that DIMAGA is using, actually making the most of that 3rd queen he had for defense. He is putting down as many creep tumors as possible, and that is great play because he's going to get this creep all over the map, and that's really what he wants, especially when he's using Banelings, because they are going to be so fast.
And here comes the 3rd expansion for DIMAGA. Look at that perfect timing, right as he gets 300 minerals, throwing it down. And here's the missile turret planted at the back of the mineral field, but only 4 Mutalisks. DIMAGA not really going to be able to do much, but it might encourage Maro to make even more turrets. Only 1 guy in the gas, guys, so that would be very good for DIMAGA to take out. Has to be careful, though. Doesn't want to run the risk of losing any Mutalisks here. Those Marines do not have stims. They're going to take quite a while to catch up to those Mutalisks.
Sorry, carry on.
Oh, thank you. Looks like Maro is now adding on yet more barracks. Wow, yeah, a lot of barracks. 5 in total. Is he getting upgrades? Yes, there's that +1 upgrade. So he's going to be having a monstrous push coming up very soon.
There is a slight blunder here by Maro. He does actually have 4 on gas on his natural, and that SCV could be used for mining minerals. Instead, it is just being wasted. And this Hellions doing nice scouting. It is popping around, looking around. It is going to see all these creep tumors in it. There are a ton of creep tumors. Going to be taken down pretty fast. These Mutalisks are going to take that down. Oh, is it going to actually survive?
Looks like it will get a chance to see the 3rd. Oh, that's so unfortunate for DIMAGA. I mean, Zerg really normally is taking this expansion around this time, but still, you never want to let your opponent know that is Zerg. It does appear the Baneling Nest is done. DIMAGA's made quite a few, and that speed upgrade for the Banelings is also finished. Medivacs out, getting more good tank placement, and again, once all these Marines finish and those essential the essential combat shield and stim upgrades are finished, yep, there they are, so he will be moving out as soon as he gets a decent number of Medivacs.
Look at this harassment with these Mutalisks. They're actually going to take down this refinery. The refinery goes down. Great harassment, especially whilst building tanks and this Raven. It requires so much gas, and he takes that gas down. And just look at Maro. I love this building placement with these supply depots. And he puts them down there. You know, for any attack that did come in, he can just lift them up. And what it will do is it will filter any lings and banelings into these small gaps. And these tanks will do a ton of damage.
And it looks like DIMAGA has just found the one vulnerability that he needs. This is going to delay Maro's push by a lot, but it looks like no, Maro is just going to go ahead and be aggressive anyways. I don't think the Zerg really has that many units. He has largely banelings, but if those tanks get sieged up nicely, he could do huge amounts of damage. We saw Sarens do that against Idra, but this is not the spread that Maro wants. He really needs to have those spread out a lot more, because this is a huge force right here for DIMAGA.
And DIMAGA, he's going to move in right now.
There the Banelings go. He's stimming, but it's one control of their corner. Oh no! Huge damage, and the Mutalisks are now ripping through everything, but Maro has a surprising amount of Marines still left alive and is able to repel these Mutalisks back. Pretty even exchange, but in these low numbers, the Banelings become slightly less effective. In big clumps, the Marines fall very quickly, but Maro still doesn't have that many tanks and needs to be very cautious with this push.
He's pulling SCVs. How many has he got? He's got 5, 6 SCVs with him. It looks like he's trying to end this right now. I don't know if actually 26 Lings are in production right now. That should actually be enough to clear out, especially if he has time to get Banelings out as well. But here we are. Maro is wasting no time. He's going straight up, but he has to go back. There are too many Banelings.
Oh, there's
too
some
many
nice
Lings,
control by Maro. Look at that great micro picking the Banelings off, but the Medivacs were left behind in the midst of all that. So Maro is continuing to push to the front, using amazing control to pick off those Banelings. DIMAGA trying to add on more, but this third hatch looks like it is going to fall very soon.
And this tank, these tanks just behind this infantry army is doing so much damage, picking off Lings, picking off Banelings, and the great micro hit by Maro, instantly pulling back all his infantry anytime his Banelings come in. As he pulls them back, the Marauders tank the damage, and the tank actually kills so much, and DIMAGA, is on the back foot right now.
And look at this, 13 kills for that tank. Those are almost all Banelings, doing huge amounts of damage. DIMAGA about to take out this hatch. The expansion hatch does fall. The third base is completely vulnerable. DIMAGA trying to replenish Banelings from either side, trying to do decent amounts of damage. And the Marines running up, they're going to be greeted by a large nest of Banelings. Needs to be so careful once these spawn. He's already trying to spread them out. Oh,
nice,
that is not the spread he needed.
It
Looks like that third base is going to be able to stay alive. DIMAGA making nothing but Zerglings, the fast emergency units. Can the Banelings get there? No, nice pullback there by DIMAGA. DIMAGA needs to get some huge shots off if he wants to keep this Expo alive.
Yeah, and these Mutalists are going down. Right now, he only has about 2 Mutalists left. They're running away. These Lings are coming out, but this tank, 23 kills on that tank. It is just sitting there behind these infantry, just doing so much damage. 21 on the other one.
Just huge shots right now for the tanks, defending one another here, and this expansion is going to fall. DIMAGA has almost no economy, and in the meantime, huge unit production by Maro. He is even able to get more upgrades, has tanks, Medivacs all the way lined back to his base.
Yeah, and that's all he has. He only has a couple of Lings and 1 Mutalist in the Queen. He really needs, he's morphing more Banelings, and his Banelings should be able to take care of this, but I'm not sure what he's going to be able to do, because this tank is going to go, no, it actually doesn't go down.
34 kills, and good
GG.
game.
Oh,
Maro, that is why Terran Berserk is his best matchup.
Yeah, and I am surprised that the play by Maro there, he stayed calm against DIMAGA, and the Marine micro was so good. People have been saying recently, after watching all these Banelings and Lings, that Marines don't use them anymore. But look at that, that is perfect use of Marines.
And that's like the third time we've seen a player try to do that exact style. Actually, might be the fourth. I mean, we saw Sarens try to pull it off against Idra. We saw Muslim do that several times. We saw Straylock do that. And all those players weren't able to do the same amount of pressure and the same amount of control that Maro did. Again, he's doing the identical style to everyone else, but he's really taking it to the next level, and that's what allowed him to just run over DIMAGA that game. It wasn't even close.
That wasn't even close. As soon as he just sat in his base, had this perfect army composition, his tanks, Marines, the Raven was used as well, and he just went in there and just steamrolled DIMAGA. And he has been obviously studying DIMAGA's play. He's been in the crowd whilst DIMAGA has been playing, and he saw how he beat the Muslim, exactly what he did, and this is his response to that.
And it's kind of interesting because his play didn't rely on a lot of the modern ideas that most Terran players are using, that Reapers seem to be a little overpowered early, that Hellions with that Blue Flame upgrade are like a core linchpin. Instead of abandoning all of it and going for a very Brood War style push that focused so much on the tank and so much on the control. And our next map is going to be Blistering Sands, so I'm not sure who I want to say this map favors.
I'm also on the same boat as you are. I mean, I don't really know who it favors, but these rocks, like I said, I always say every time on this map, these rocks change the game so much. And as we always say on this map, the aggressor is usually the one, you know, with the motivation, the determination to win the game.
But I mean, DIMAGA is the sort of player that when he's aggressive, it's not a little poking attack and then he's going to pull back. He is almost always committed to win the game right then and there. So those rocks in the back door can help him quite a bit. I mean, we've seen DIMAGA take games off White Raw in numerous tournaments using that whole idea with all-in Roaches or all-in Banelings. But at the same time, Maro is the king of mid-game pushes with Terran, always comes out with impeccable timing, and those destructible rocks are a great tool for him to use as well.
Yeah, definitely. And what we missed from DIMAGA that game, what we've seen from him throughout the entire tournament, is the Mutalist harassment, and Maro shut that down perfectly. And what the Mutalist harassment actually does for DIMAGA, it buys him so much time. I mean, all these turrets have been made, a ton of Marines have been made, but the placement, like we saw yesterday, some Terran players, they didn't have the placement quite right. I think it was the Muslim missed out a couple of placements, and that was what Maro had definitely different in that game, was his placement of turrets was perfect.